Hey y'all, come on in. Come on in. I swear I'm gonna get this lighting right one day. One day when I have a real studio. But you gotta work what you got. Start where you are. Come on in, y'all. I have to share this to my main Facebook page. Y'all know the drill. And I'm also waiting on the guest. So while I wait on the guest, come on in, y'all. I'm almost there. I'm about to share it to my main Facebook page to get y'all to come on over here to the Get Naked page. I see somebody is watching. Hello, hello. When y'all come in, can y'all say hello? Hold on one second, y'all. I be learning something new every day. Let's see if this works. No, I think that's something else. Okay. We get in there. Just be patient. Share. No. Let's see. I'm still waiting on DeVona. Hey, Kiwana. I'm just making sure that I post to my main page, yo, so that y'all can come in. Hey, girl, hey. Okay, so it looks like I shared it to. Just give me a second. Want to make sure. DeVona, are you still on here? Because you have to send me a request so that I can bring you on as a guest. There should be an option somewhere. Kiwana, can you tell her where the button is? Because I've never joined anybody. Oh, I think I have joined somebody else's broadcast. I was about to lie. I think I did it only once though. But I'm not sure if that person invited me or... But there's an option somewhere. You may have to click on some of the buttons that you see around. Are you on your phone? Thank y'all for all those who are on. See? And our phones are different too, because I don't even have a thumbs up on my phone. If you all are coming in, please like and share the video. I'm just going to do a small introduction while we wait for the guest. I am Phette Hollins. I am the creator of the Get Naked movement and Get Naked TV, where we share stories of healing and getting unstuck by removing the layers of baggage one story at a time. And today we have DeVona Hamilton, who's going to talk to us about child sexual abuse. These are real women sharing their stories. So please like and share the video, because you never know who needs to receive this. Thank y'all for being patient. We're just waiting. It's amazing. I don't know how to get past the fact, like, when you're on camera, you're looking at yourself, you just can't help but like fiddle with little things. Like, I'm always fiddling with my hair anyway, but when you're just looking at it, you just feel like you have to. Like, I'm always fiddling. It's like I have to do something with my hands. I think it's a nerves thing, because I've been doing it for so long. How we looking, DeVona? I got my laptop on the floor, looking to see how much of a delay it is. On another device. Oh, I think I see something. I think we're in the house. We're almost there. Oh, I think I see something. Can you see me?
Hey.
Hey,
yeah,
girl.
But I couldn't figure it out on top.
I don't think you can do it on your laptop. You cannot do it on your laptop.
Oh, well, that solves that problem.
Right. I don't know. It's weird. Some features aren't available. I don't get that. But whatever.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was
DeVona.
like, as soon as I got on my phone, instantly saw what you were talking about, because I'm like, on my laptop, I don't have that button.
Yeah, it's only on the phone that you can do the little join interview thingy. But I did an introduction and everything. Oh, wait a minute. Can you still hear me? Oh, I see people
Yes.
on. Okay. So welcome, DeVona.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm so excited. So I did the introduction already. I didn't do a full introduction. I just, said that you were on and what you were going to talk about. And just for them, I'm going to tell them all to give you a warm welcome. I put that in the caption as well. And you can just give us a little bit about yourself. Because I know that most shows, they say the little bio and the spiel, then the person comes on. But I like it better for the person to introduce themselves, to tell us who you are. I just like it that way.
Okay. First and foremost, what even got me on this journey was that I'm a survivor, for one, of child sexual abuse. So I'm an advocate as well. I have a couple support groups that I do for women survivors. I'm a life coach. I am an author. And I also have a business group called Success Builders Networking, where there's entrepreneurs in there, writers, you name it, where we all come together and give each other tips and tools to be successful in business. We share ideas. So that's another thing that I have going on as well. So that's about the bulk of me.
That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So tell us about why child sexual abuse is important to you and what made you become an advocate.
As I was saying before, I was actually a victim of child sexual abuse. And it wasn't until around 2010 that I decided to actually come out publicly and tell my story. So I wrote a book about it. It was called My Battle Through Life, which I have to republish it again. I'll give you the whole spill on that later. And so, and it was at that time where I'm like, well, what can I do to contribute to raising awareness? And of course, that was to me being an advocate of what I was advocating against, what I was advocating for, what I wanted to do. I wanted to help others um, to get healing because I felt like a lot of people are different, you know, different on the inside. And so to come out was another, you know, coming at the possible. So that's how it became or I think have other women to over too. So so is what I
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I can. Your phone is going in and out on my end, so I'm trying to see if anybody else is having a problem hearing you.
probably these notifications I should let me see if I can turn them on. Okay, I think I turned off all the other notifications, so hopefully um everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me?
Okay. I can hear you. It was just you were going. Yeah, it was like breaking up, and I'm like, I wonder if anybody else is having a problem. It could have just been my phone. Okay.
Yeah, hear me now. Someone said they couldn't at first, but now they're saying yes. So hopefully I fixed that problem.
Okay. Okay. So yes, you can continue. Oh, I said better
Okay,
now.
so yeah, yeah, the reason why I became an advocate, of course, is because I was sexually abused as a kid. And so I wanted to raise awareness and I wanted to help other women to get healing. And so the only way for me, I felt like the only way for me to do that was to become an advocate and get into the field that, you know, where I'm able to help other people. So that was, you know, doing the support groups, that was becoming a child advocate early on. And that's raising awareness and speaking against it as I'm trying to do now, as far as doing speaking engagements wherever I can. I wrote a book about it, and I'm continuing writing a second book that's dealing with the effects of it and mental health illnesses that some of us have from it, from the trauma, especially as a child. And so that's what I am doing currently.
Okay. So tell us, how old were you when you were sexually abused, and when did you know that you needed to heal, and it was because of that you needed to heal?
Well, I'm gonna say roughly around 8 or 9 years old is when it started. And it was my stepfather, so it was someone that I knew. It was not a stranger. It was not someone outside of the home. And it began around about, like I said, 8 or 9 years old. But it wasn't until about I was 13 because it lasted for a couple years on and off. It wasn't until I was about 13 where I felt like, because like a lot of people ask me, well, how do you know when to tell?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can typically answer that question, but for me, it was almost like all that shame, guilt, all that hurt, pain, all that depression that I was going through was just building up. And it was at that time where I was like a volcano getting ready to erupt. And so I had a boyfriend at 13 years old, and he came over that day, and I couldn't stop crying. And he was like, "What is wrong?" And all of a sudden, it just came out, you know. So it wasn't this special occasion where I said, "Okay, today I'm going to tell." It didn't
Gotcha.
happen. someone what was wrong. You know, it was like that moment you were always waiting for someone to say, "What is wrong? What's going on with you?" And that's what he did. And at that time is when I decided to tell him what was going on. And then, you know, from that point on, what a lot of victims need, I had told him, but I also had to tell anyone else. And he decided to go outside because I remember I was sitting in the living room at the time, and he went outside and he made a couple phone calls. Well, it was at that time he ended up calling a few of my family members and wanted to tell them what I had just told him, even though I said, don't tell anyone. But I thank God. I thank God for him, and I thank God that he contacted the people that he did in my family, because then my aunt called and she was like, is this true? And all I had to say that was yes. And the next day she came to pick me up and took me to the police station. There
Wow.
was no
Okay.
think about, you know, well, tell me what happened, you know, or anything like that. All she asked was, is this true? And I said yes. And she was like, she was taking it in her own hands. And I went to the police station, told him what, you know, had happened. And, you know, that was taken care of. He was convicted, had to register as a sex offender. And then I went years with self destruction, years before I realized, like I said, it was around 2009 is when I realized I kept going around in circles, doing the same thing, wasn't getting there, realized that I wasn't fulfilling whatever my purpose was in life because I still wasn't happy outside of all the money I had, outside of owning my own salon at the time. I mean, I actually started doing hair at 18 years old. And so I was kind of too much successful in my small town at the time. And I was like, I still was unhappy. You know, I still was unhappy and I was searching for something and I didn't know what it was. And so then at that time, when I just got sick and tired and I began to pray and ask God, what is it that I am not doing? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? What is it that you want me to do? Like, I didn't have any answers at the time. And I swear it was like clear as day. He was telling me I should use my pain to help other people. And me, knowing that was the most tragic thing that had happened to me, I knew instantly what he was talking about, that I should tell my story publicly. And I was like, no, I already had got justice for that. Why should I talk about it now? Why should I bring that back up now? And it was at that point I realized that I had been carrying around all that hurt, that shame. Um, I was abusing my body, didn't have boundaries, didn't have healthy relationships. I was re-victimizing myself. I mean, all that stuff was going on, and I didn't realize why up until then. And then it was at that point, I'm like, you need for healing. You thought you got over it because you told, you know, and that was the end of it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But in reality, you're dying in reality, still keep healing, uncover all those layers of pain in order to get to that healthy place where you're able to have healthy relationships. So that is what brought me up to this point now, where I am now, with still continuing to get deeper healing, because it's not an easy process. It doesn't happen overnight. Once I uncover one thing, boom, here comes something else. Or once I thought I got something, boom, you didn't, because now you mad at something else and you thought you were so. And so that's how I got to where I am now, being an advocate and having my support groups. My support groups has helped me more than going to therapy, because I'm with other women that know the pain. You know, they know what I went through, even though their stories are different. When I hear them say things, I'm like, oh my God, that's how I felt, you know, but I wasn't brave enough to say, I'm ticked off today, or I hate someone today. You know, hate was a strong word. So you can use it in my household. So now when I hear somebody say it, that that's how they felt, I'm like, I did too, but I didn't say it. And
Right.
so it's your truth. It's dealing with your reality, and stop letting people shame you for how you feel or what you say or what you're doing. You know, you have to realize what you're doing is hurtful and harmful to yourself, and you're hurting people along the way, especially, you know, loved ones, especially when we're talking about being in relationships. So
For sure.
that's how I to try to get my healing now. Um, within these last few years. So that's how I got to where I'm at now.
That's some heck of a healing. And I think this is powerful for several different reasons. But the main one is that you were able to, you told someone, and because we hear so many stories that when a kid tells someone that the adults don't believe them. And I just
Right.
think that's, I think that was a lifesaver for you because, like you said, your aunt took you immediately to the police station and the guy was charged. And I mean, that's awesome that it happened in that way. And the reason why I'm connected to this story is because you're absolutely correct. When you start healing is hard, for one. It's like
Right.
healing is hard. And I started a healing journey, look, oh goodness, I think it was about 5 years ago. It's going on 5 years. Because for the same reasons as you did, I was repeating these patterns and I felt like I was just on this hamster wheel. And I'm like, why am I here again? Different people, but the same things were happening. And you know how you get to the point where sometimes you're just like, oh, it's the devil. It's this, and you blame it on everybody else. Then I said, hey, I'm the common denominator. I need to look within. Something is going on, right? And at first, I could not figure it out. And I had gone to therapists, and you have to find like the right therapist to pull certain things out of you. You have to feel comfortable and all of that. And it took a while for me to even get to that point. But the what I found out was I was suppressing I was suppressing being abused too, because I would say I was about 8 or 9. But what I was doing was kind of like minimalizing it. I can't think of the right word. Minimize. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Minimizing it.
Because
Yep.
I felt like, oh, so many people have gone through way worse because in my case, it was a relative. I call him my uncle, but he's not like a blood relative. So I would call him my uncle. But since there was not penetration with his penis, I downplayed it. You know what I mean? So for
Right.
years, I'm just like, oh, it was just, he just used his fingers and it wasn't that big of a deal. But I always looked at him as like my favorite uncle and felt a certain way about him and not realizing like, oh no, that's abuse. That's molestation because I was 8 and 9 years old. And so once I got to the root of that and then losing my virginity at 11, it's like 11, how? No one is ready to lose their virginity at 11. And that just caused this
Right.
whole cycle of things. And then I thought about it like, oh my goodness, I'm mad at the world. I'm mad at no one for like talking to me, no one for seeing that some things were going on, not even like paying attention to my mood. So I was mad at the world. So you're right, it's like one thing after another. Once I uncovered that, I was just like, oh, he's this, he's that. And then I'm like, all these boyfriends, and then all the people that I started hurting along the way. Because I hurt a
Right.
lot of people because I was never really giving of myself because I was not trusting them trusting anyone. So I really
Right.
relate to your story, and I think that's great that you started these support groups and had these women to help you along the way, because that takes a whole lot of digging deep, self-reflecting, and being honest and vulnerable to say, hey, I'm doing this, I've done this, and I want to just make it right. Hey Iris, hey everybody that's coming in, if you can just
Hey, everybody.
like and share the video. We're talking to DeVona Hamilton about child sexual abuse and the dysfunction and why we don't talk about it. That's
Right.
like, why aren't we saying anything about it?
Right. Well, I know for some of my women that I deal with, a lot of them just don't tell because they're afraid of what the outcome will be. They're afraid, if anyone's going to believe them. They're afraid that, um, somebody's going to hear it. They're going to be exposed because you're literally exposed. You know what I mean? It's almost like you stripping off your production, the get naked. You're stripping off everything and you're like, no, hey, this is what happened to me. And so you're scared of the backlash from everybody, from your family, from your friends, from your peers, from the world, or what everybody is going to say. And they're just afraid. They're scared. They're scared to hurt. One thing about us victims is we always think about everybody else's feelings before we think about ours. So we're scared of how someone else is going to feel. Are we going to get someone else in trouble? Or if they were married, because like my stepfather was married to my mother, so I was scared. Oh my God, what is she going to think? Are they going to blame me? What could I have done to make sure that didn't happen? So then we internalize it and start self-blaming ourselves for it. You know what I mean? Like maybe we caused it, or maybe I did deserve it, or what did I do? You start looking at yourself like, what did I do to cause this to happen to me? But the bottom line is, we didn't do anything. We were children, and whether you weren't a child or not, like you didn't do anything to deserve. You didn't dress a certain way. You didn't act a certain way. You did not deserve to be violated that way. I don't care what you think, because we battle a lot with that. You
Right.
did not deserve violated, and that's just bottom line, and a lot of us struggle with that. And then too, like for some of the people that I talk to or have experience with, that it was being a family member, sometimes fathers, let's be real, uncles or
Yes.
aunts or whoever, it becomes their normal. I know people think that's weird, but it does become their normal. And unfortunately, until we get out of those situations, which now I'm glad that some of my women has been able to do, and they realize that was not normal from day one. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't have been doing that, or I shouldn't have been in the bed with this person, or I shouldn't have did this, and like that was not normal. But I didn't know because no one said anything. I
Right.
wasn't taught. I was educated. And then too, like we were having the conversation about how were you taught about the good touch, bad touch as a kid? And some of the people was like, well, I wasn't taught anything about that, inappropriate touching. The one particular person was like, well, I know for me at school, it was kind of this stranger danger thing, right? No one said that person that could touch you, that bad touch or inappropriate touch, could have been your dad, or could be your mother, could be your stepfather, could be your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, or your friend, or your neighbor, or whatever. We're not taught that kids should have boundaries. As a kid, when Uncle such and such come up to you and want a hug, you're supposed to give it to him, right? Set these boundaries to say, okay, maybe you such and such don't feel like hugging Uncle such and such today. And it's a fine line, though, of how you teach your child boundaries, especially with their bodies, that it's okay to say no and not allow people to touch you in certain places, or go to the bathroom with you. You know what I mean? If you're at somebody's house and Uncle such and such want to take you to the bathroom, you can say no. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so we're just not taught these things. And so we're very uneducated about, first of all, about child sexual abuse or abuse, period. And then, second of all, on how to deal with it when it does come up, when it does happen. What are you supposed to do? Are we supposed to go to the authorities, or should we keep it a secret? We're tarnishing our family name if you say Pastor such and such, which is grandfather did this, or pastor
Mm-mm.
this, or uncle this. So we have to take that stuff into consideration. My stepfather was a minister. And so not only did I have that battle of worrying about what, family or friends, even though it wasn't that issue, but I had to worry about what the church was going to say about me. And sure enough, we had some of them say, oh, she was a fast little girl. Okay, so that
Wow.
fast little 8-year old or 10-year old or 11-year old deserved to be raped or molested because you thought or assumed she was fast. I mean, come on. But it's the things that we hear. And that really sticks, because here I am now, 39 years old, that still sticks with me. I still remember what people were saying,
Right.
so that sticks with me. And so that's another issue that I have to deal with internally. Like, do I really believe that was true? If not, try to let that go. You know what I mean? So we really have to be truthful with ourselves when we're dealing with going deeper. When we talk about healing, we have to be truthful on what hurt us. And like you said, stop minimizing the pain, stop minimizing the hurt, stop minimizing the effects that these traumatic events had on us, whatever it may be. And I think a lot of times we do that. It could have been worse. We were just talking about that in Monday Night Group. It could have been worse thing. We have that mentality. Yeah, it
Yes.
could have been worse, but this still affected me. This still hurt me. This still had a lot of things that I'm dealing with emotionally and physically and emotionally about. And so I have to deal with those things. I'm all for that. It could have been worse. It could have, but I need
Right.
to deal with impact it made on me now. And so that's why I love my support groups. You know, we're really digging deep in things and we're really open and honest, and it's a safe place. A lot of us don't have a safe place, you know, where we're able to express our real feelings, because then once again, we're caught up in this, what is somebody going to say? Oh, you need to get over that. Don't you? You hear that a lot, right?
A whole
You
lot.
need to, that was so long ago. Get over it. if
Listen,
it was that
all the time.
if it was that easy, we would have been pushed that get over it button
If only.
time ago.
I do agree that we should not accept it, but acknowledge that that happened and find a way to process it and move on in a way that you're not allowing it to like fester and dwell in it and cause you to, to be more harmful to yourself and to others and that kind of thing. But the way that others
You
may
have
let it go, they want you to just let it go and just do nothing about it. And it's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Even though I
right,
still to this day haven't said anything to my uncle. And before my mom passed, I didn't even tell her. Only a handful of people that I'm close to know about it. And I'm still in that stage where I don't even really know. I don't really think that it affects me or bother me anymore after I dug deep and got through all the other stuff that was, bothering me.
right,
But at this point, I just want to know if I really want to know if he remembers. I want him to know that I remember. Do you know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
And I just don't know how to go about saying, you know I remember that, right? Like he's married, been married for 30 plus years, has 3 kids, and but I just really want to tell him just one day, just like I remember. Don't think I forgot that. Do you know what I mean? So
right.
I just really want to do that one day. I don't know if I will, but I just think that's unfortunate because I know for a fact that he's done that to someone else. It was actually his sister. And I'm like, yeah, so I don't know how many others there were or if there were others, but I know that it actually
Right.
went to another level with his sister. But how do you go about finding the members for your group?
Well, I started for my group that's at my office, that we do in the conference room. I started a meetup, for victims of sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse. And that was how I was able to get the members for that. Now, the one that's at my church, they do the advertising for that, online and other forms of advertising, marketing. They have a marketing team that does that. And so we'll
Okay.
have people to call in our church, and then we'll tell them we have care ministry on Monday nights. We'll give them the list of the groups that we have. And a lot of times people don't know that we have the group, and then they'll see it on the flyer, or they'll see it at church, or they'll see it on the website, and then they'll inquire about it. And then that's the way we're able to build up our members for the group. I usually don't advertise it as far as on Facebook, because I wanted to keep it kind of private, of our meetups and who's in the group and all that stuff. So for confidentiality reasons, so I don't really advertise it that particular way. It's just kind of like a contact me thing. Let me talk to you, feel you out, kind of give you a little interview before you're able to join our groups. Because I don't want to, just put anybody in a group where, my women feel like they can't be open and honest, and I'm just dragging people off the street,
Right.
to become a part of our group. So that's how we do the advertising for both different groups, um, for both of them. So that's how that came about. But
Okay.
I eventually, I want them to be bigger, but I just want to go about it in a safer way, And like I said, I do speaking engagements as well. And so I'm able to tell them that I do have support groups. And then if they, contact me afterwards, I'll let them know I have two. One is in Novi, Michigan. One is in Plymouth, Michigan, the times and the dates, and see, which one will work for them as well. And that's another big way on how I wanted to use my story to advocate and bring awareness, was only I wanted to reach out to other people as well, because I did an event at one of the colleges in Atlanta, and it's like I know this is my path, because every time I speak, it's almost as if God is working in that crowd. So like someone to come up to me and be like, "Thank you for telling my story," like rah rah pushing me and encouraging me. So I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path here. I really am. And then, like, for those college students, some of them had just been raped since they was in school. And so it really kind of made me say, okay, I'm not only just dealing with child sexual abuse, just sexual violence, period, I'm advocating for. Because it is heavy in our colleges as well. Some of those young ladies and men were just raped in school since they've been in school. Some of them were mentally and physically abused before school, and their self esteem was low, very vulnerable, looking for love in all the wrong places, and came up on these things when they got to college. And, so I was able to address that as well. And then for those young kids to get up there and pour out their hearts, was it changed a lot of lives that day, for me, for them, and for other people that I have brought along. And so it makes me happy to be able to make that kind of an impact with something so rough that we need to talk about, but still able to give a little, something for them to hang on to. And while we're talking about the effects of child sexual abuse, one of the things too is the suicidal thoughts that we don't talk about. A lot of people don't
Hmm.
realize that um, being a victim of any traumatic really event makes people really suicidal. And like I'm used to people saying, okay, yeah, I want to commit suicide and I'm praying for them and I'm rebuking it off of them and all that stuff. But last year I ended up losing a woman in one of my groups to suicide.
Oh
And I
wow.
tell you, it really struck me in a way that forever changed me. Like now I want to add that, on to when I'm talking about the effects of child sexual abuse, because people who knew her said that she was this loving, supportive, um, just happy person, but they didn't know that she was actually dying in the inside. They didn't know her struggles that she was struggling with every day. And so when she actually did it, it really did something to me because it really let me know that people are hurting. People are hurting really bad and we don't get it. We just
Right.
don't understand what impact that this traumatic thing can have on people until we see it firsthand. And I believe that that's why I was able to see that firsthand so I can get a better understanding of everybody don't make it, you know, everybody don't make it where they're able to say, okay, I need to deal with my issues. It gets hard on some people where they don't want to live every day, from the shame or from the guilt or from their families turning their backs on them because that was her thing. Her family was still, communicating with the abuser, but not communicating with her. So now she feels like I'm not the victim anymore,
Yeah.
I'm the perpetrator. I'm the
Right.
one caused this crime. And it was just so unfortunate. And so it just makes me, it don't make me want to stop and give up. That's for sure. It makes me want to keep pushing forward. It makes me want to keep advocating, keep talking about it when people want you to shut up about it and get over it. It makes me want to continue to talk about it. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm not going to stop. I might add something on to it, but I'm not going to
Right.
stop. So
Definitely
yeah,
don't.
it's a lot of effects of, you know, child sexual abuse. We don't have enough time in this one video to
No,
talk
I
about them all. I really wanted to get that one out because it just happened, a few months ago, and it really was an impact on me on doing why I do what I do, and that's bringing awareness to it and talking about it for those that can't talk about it, for those that are silent, and even for those that are talking about it. I just want to do my part. That's how I feel.
right. No, it makes absolute sense. I get it. So that's how I felt about this whole when I started the whole Get Naked movement because it became this thing where at one point I was just living a lie. I was unhappily married. I was just doing stuff just for the sake of doing it and feeling like, oh, I need to be married because I'm out here being wild and wilding out. Like, okay, maybe I need to sit down, but it was just like not with the right person. But once I started healing and doing the work, I realized that so many people were just or are just doing things just to get by. Nobody is being honest and open and not and talking about stuff that's really hurting them, that's affecting them, and it's just like it's a routine. So once you're doing this every day, all day, you think that, oh, this is normal, but you're not addressing why you're not getting to the next step or the next level. So now that I've done all of that and I'm aware of that, I always tell everybody that I'm always getting naked. And people expect for me
Right.
to get naked. And just like you, um, people see that that's what your purpose is, that's what your mission is, and people come to you and say thank you for telling. I have so many comments and emails and text messages and inbox messages from so many people who have similar stories and they're afraid to speak up. And I just can't imagine anymore because I was silent for a long time with a lot of things, but now I can't even imagine being quiet about stuff. I'm just like, oh no, no, no. And like
Right.
you, I feel like I have to speak up for those who won't or can't, and even for those that will speak up. Like you and I will talk and speak up, and I'm still going to talk because it's important. And it's like something going on now, like as far as the whole little Me Too
Yeah.
movement, and like these we're tired, well, men too, so we're just tired of not saying anything, so we're not ashamed anymore. You have to let that go because it's like it causes like a lifetime of pain, and who wants to be in
Right.
pain? It's like, no, I have no time for that. So I'm addressing every and anything that has caused me to question myself, um lower my self-esteem or anything, and I'm addressing it like, okay, and then I'm going to talk about it so that other people will say, hey, that's me, and see how to go about getting over that and healing from it, because that is so very
Right.
important.
And I'm so for telling my truth. I don't care whether somebody believe me or not. At this point, I don't care if somebody believe me. I don't care if somebody has to validate. No one has to approve my message or anything. Telling my truth is freeing to me. Telling my truth at this point gives me more strength. It gives me more courage. It gives me more power. I want to take back this power. He stole my power then. Oh, he's not stealing it now. I have a voice,
Right.
so I'm able to tell my story. And so that's why, again, that I'm telling my story. It's not telling my story, trying to get pity from anybody, or telling my
Right.
story because I keep wanting to talk about it. I'm telling my story because it's powerful to me to see where I am now than what I was back then, because I was very depressed at the time. I did the re-victimization where I was abusing my body, but at this point in my life, it's like, no, it's my strength, it's my power. I
Right.
feel very just the more I talk about it. I feel very stronger each time I talk about it. I'm
Absolutely.
opened up to transparent with people, and it's freeing to me. And I just hope along the way, not only am I getting deeper healing, but that it will help somebody else heal. It will give them tips and tools. My story and the things that I did may not work for somebody else. That's fine. You may have to go your own route. I'm all for that. But however, I'm going to give you the tips and tools that I use.
Mhm.
So that's another reason why I like to tell my truth and speak my story. And writing, writing for me is an outlet. That is a way for me to get out my feelings and my emotions. And a lot of the times, because I'm writing a book for other people to read, when I go back, I have to be like, okay, ooh, you was venting that day. You probably need to twerk that. So you're telling a story and not venting.
That's
So then a lot of times I have to go back and break it down, and might do a little lessons I learned out of it or something like that. But it's different than journaling than actually writing a book. I don't want to just be on there venting or I had a bad day, and unleashing. But it's a way for me to kind of break down my process on what I use to be able to get healing for myself. And so that's what my purpose of writing these books, so people will have a base. And this time in this book, I did some self-evaluation questions. So now in this one, when you get done reading and you being truthful and honest with yourself, you're able to go in the back of the book with a couple questions and answer them truthfully for yourself, so you can see where you're at. You know, dig deep with it, and what's really the root cause of why you're behaving the way you're behaving, why you're doing the things that you're doing. And so that's my second book that I'm bringing out hopefully really soon. I just did my book cover, and I'll be publishing them really soon. And so
Okay.
that's my whole my writing, my stories. So I'm very excited
Congratulations.
about it.
Congratulations, because that takes a whole lot of discipline to write a book.
Oh,
Whole lot of discipline. So congratulations to
you
you on that.
you on six? You on your sixth or seventh one?
No, I'm only on my fourth one. That's it.
Oh,
6 or 7.
girl, you
So I'm
ahead
only
of
on my
me. I'm
fourth
on,
one. No, no, so that's
but that's
good. So do you have like can you spit some tips or like you said about tips and tools? Do you have just a little bit of some tips to share with us on how to start this journey? If you don't, if someone doesn't want, they're not ready to open up to anybody just yet, but like
yeah.
how to ignite or become aware or know that they need to heal. Like what is some of your like strategies for that?
Well, me, like I always tell them is when things are happening, say like, you're mad or you're angry or you have an attitude about something. I think if we stop and write or think, like I usually a write for me, but if you even stop and think, okay, why am I mad? Why am I angry? Is it really about this situation that's happening right here now today? And if so, why has it escalated so much? You know what I mean? Like, why has it went from 0 to 1,000 so quickly? Is it something? Because a lot of times for me, like I think I wrote in my book, like when I'm evaluating the situation and when I dig deep, a lot of the times it's not pertaining to the actual situation that's going on at hand. It's something deeper than that. And a lot of times I have exploded on that particular situation, and it really had nothing to do with that. It was some past mess and baggage that I brought along, and now I just didn't unleash. So my first tip and tool would be when you're having a bad day, when you have woken up depressed or you can't sleep because a lot of things are on your mind, get up and start writing or get up and start talking about in your head, like, okay, why can't I sleep? What is on my mind? What is bothering me? Is it something that's going on tomorrow? Why do I have anxiety? Why am I having this issue? Is it a work thing? Is it a family thing? Is it a financial thing? And once you have identified what the real cause is, okay, now my next step would be, how am I going to fix this? If it's a financial thing, how are you going to fix that financial? If it's an emotional, angry, why am I angry? Well, if you have something to do with somebody with the boundary thing, then guess what? You need to set the boundary because 9 times out of 10, that person doesn't take those the boundary because they don't even know what the boundaries are. And so this is before what you should do is first and hardest be informed. Identify what the problem is and what is causing it. Those are my first what I would do before I even move on and make it past those steps. Because then at that point, you really have to start digging at that point. So first identifying what the problem even is. What is your issue? Why are you so angry? Or why do you feel lonely? Or why is your self-esteem low? What happened that you don't think that you deserve or that you are worthy of something? What caused that? It just didn't happen in a moment that you feel like you're unworthy. So dig deep and figure out, why did you get that way? Or if you're having a problem and guess what? I need a drink or two to calm my nerves. Now, what started that? What started,
Right.
you know, because I had that issue too. It was a coping mechanism to numb out the pain. I didn't want to feel the pain. So I started drinking. I started doing drugs. I started partying, so just getting to the core of why you are acting, why you are doing the things you are doing, and then get to the bottom line of, okay, I have this surface problem, because a lot of times we just talk about the surface things, but now I need to dig deep and figure out, where's that coming from? What's the core? And if you can make it past those two, then you really came farther than what you think you have. And
Right.
then you can just start digging deeper after that.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
those are
those are some
two.
great tips. Hold on, let's see. So can you hear us now, Tiffany? I'm gonna go through this to see if anybody has any questions. You all can type them in the comments before we wrap this up. So just to back it up again, just a little bit. So if someone wanted to join one of your support groups, would it be best if they just reach out to you, like inbox you, or is
They
email
can either
you?
inbox or email me at DeVona, DeVona .ROCHELLE at yahoo.com. Or you can get on any one of my Facebook pages, DeVona Hamilton. I have a Facebook page and I also have a Success Builders networking page. And you can usually inbox me. It probably won't go straight through, but I'd approve it if I read your message first. And then we can talk from there. And 9 times out of 10, I'll give them my phone number as well. So
Okay.
and then we can really talk about it and share stories or whatever it is that they may need. But I'm pretty open with people contacting me.
Okay. So after the broadcast, if you can, or you could probably do it while we're on the broadcast, you can just drop those in the comments, so people can like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
people know and they can be there, just in case, because like you said, it is confidential. You don't want to put everybody's business out there and do it in that way. So I feel like if somebody wants to, they can just reach out to you, because I know there are a lot of
Right.
people, a lot of women who have gone through this, which is really unfortunate, but it's the sad reality. But I think that's great that you have these support groups. I have to reach out to you too. I have to check out one of your groups.
Yeah, they're really helpful to me. I'm telling you, they have been a blessing to me, to meet the women that's in the groups. I mean, and these are some very smart, educated, these women, they're awesome. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody brings something to the table. I mean, you love hearing the story. It's not somewhere where you come and you like, crying when you walk out the door. Like they're really loving and supportive. You know what I
Right.
mean? You're able to cry through the meeting, but by the time you leave, you done got like 7 hugs,
Aw.
and you ready to fight against the world after that. And if we need prayer requests, we fill out our prayer cards and pray for everybody. Or if you want to do it privately, I have a little heart bag that I usually have where they can stick them in there. And so it's a really good group. And then like if somebody's having a bad day, they're really encouraging and they think I encourage them, but I'm like, y'all encourage me, to keep doing what I'm doing, and to hear their progress, because some of them have been with me for a couple of years. And so the progress from when I first met them to now, I just be like, oh my goodness.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. It sounds like you guys feed off of each other though. So that's good.
we do. It's not just me being a leader standing up there talking. No, no, no. We're sitting on our couches because we have couches in there and we're really getting naked, like you said, not physically, but
Right.
being open and honest
It's
with each other.
metaphorically.
And so
Metaphorically
yes,
get naked. Figuratively
you
get
have to
naked.
clarify. Yeah, you have to clarify that because people be like, "What? Y'all
And
be
that's
doing what?"
listen, I did that on purpose. I totally did that on purpose because yeah, I did that on purpose because I knew that would get folks' attention because folks got dirty minds. I know that. So I did that on purpose because then you're going to want to know what it's about when you realize it's really not about getting naked. So that's
Right,
how that
right.
came about. But it's like a double entendre in a way because like you said, I was abusing my body at one point. So I just felt like
Oh yeah.
I'm getting naked, metaphorically, figuratively, removing the layers of the pain and hurt, but not using my body anymore as a means to numb the feelings and stuff like
Right.
that. So that's why I did
Because
get naked.
in Right. And then in my mind, when we were talking about re-victimization, in my mind, how dysfunctional it was, I thought it was me being in control of my body. You know what I mean? Now I can do what I want to do with my body, use it the way I want to use it. That was just so silly. But I didn't understand that at the time.
Right, right.
Didn't understand at the time because I'm like, you abusing your body now just because
Yeah,
you giving it to who you want to, but no, no,
it's
no, that's not how that works.
absolutely. We tell ourselves some stuff, but everything starts with the mind. When you tell yourself something, whatever you tell yourself is true. So yeah, at that
Right.
time it's like, no, nope, that doesn't make it better. That doesn't make it better at all.
Right.
But that's
Not at
good.
all.
That's good that we took the steps to get to where we are now, but we need to tell folks that because believe me, there are people out there that believe that. You know what I mean? Like,
That is true. I'm glad I'm where I am now because, woo, the way I thought was just horrible. And so to be able to be where I am now, thinking on a clearer mindset, but still working on it now.
right. It's
I'm able to
always a work.
say,
You always got to work. It's always a work in progress. You just further along than where you were before.
right, that is true. So I'm gonna continue. That's for sure. You'll be hearing more of me. We're gonna be talking anyway. So
For sure. That's gonna be a whole nother broadcast. I'm gonna bring you on for that too. So
right, right.
stay
I
tuned for
can't
that.
wait.
But I
I'm
thank you
excited.
for coming on, DeVona. I really do. This was a great talk. If anybody has any questions, y'all can put it in the chat, and we'll still be able to comment after the broadcast is over. But do you want to leave us with any last words?
I just want to say for anyone, not just someone that has been sexually abused, because we are going through a lot in this world, period. All I can say is just be true to yourself. Continue to become self aware, educate yourself, stay strong, stay prayed up, and just continue doing what you feel like you should be doing, especially if it's something that you think God has put on your heart to do or something you feel like you're passionate about. A lot of times, stuff that we are called to do is something that we should be passionate about, whether we know it or not at the time. Because, like, I would have never thought that this would be my thing, but it is something I should be passionate about. You know what I mean? And so I'm
Right.
going to continue to talk about it. I'm going to continue to bring awareness. And so that's what I want everyone to do. Just be true to themselves. Don't let anybody discourage you from doing what it is that you feel like you should be doing or what's on your heart. Because people will tear you down, whether you're doing what they thought you should be doing or where you thought you should be doing. And so you have to be sound in you and know who you are. And so that's why I continue to work on myself, because I have to strengthen myself to continue this walk, or there will be no way I will
Absolutely.
be able to continue this journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I would say keep strengthening yourself in any way possible, whether that's through devotion, reading inspirationals, whether it's through music. Music is a great way to get motivated,
For sure.
whatever you need from, because I'll switch it up in a minute with my music. But whatever you need, just keep working on yourself. Be true to yourself for real. And that's one thing I would like to leave with everyone.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, DeVona. Thank everybody else for coming on. Again, please like and share the video because you never know who may need to hear this message. And this is Get Naked TV. If you have a story or know somebody who wants to share a story and get naked and who doesn't
Yes.
mind being vulnerable, have them email us at getnakedthemovement@gmail.com. I will drop the link in the comments and come on and share the story with us. Did you want to say something else, DeVona?
Yeah, or contact me and I will hook you up and get you on Get Naked. This is
Hey, hey.
movement. So you can contact me and I get you on here. We just want people to be open and honest and tell your story. Whatever that is. It doesn't have to be something like this. It could be something else. We just want to
Right.
be inspired and encouraged. So
Yes, and be authentic and get the healing process
yes,
going. So thank y'all for
right.
coming on. DeVona, I'll be talking to you super soon. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.